Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Corpse Party Blood Drive for the PC. In the last episode, we managed to get through the second half of EX Chapter 4, and long story short, the ghost that was initially possessing Saika, that wanted to just basically eat a bunch of sweets before being able to pass on, was successfully appeased at a high-end restaurant that the whole group went to, that just so happened to be owned by Magari of all people. Who essentially took the opportunity, since she just so happened to be there when Naho's group showed up, to basically just fraternize with them a bit. Ghost passed on. Everybody took some commemorative photos, especially at the very end, where Aiko was invited with Naho and Saika to go get some sticker photos of them, thus explaining the origin of the sticker photo that Aiko has on her desk. And well, yeah, we found out just exactly how Aiko made her first real friends that day. Which just ends up making how the whole group ended up falling apart just that much more tragic, honestly. And that's pretty much the gist of it. So I'm going to go ahead and start Chapter 7, and I guess we're going to deal with the Nirvana apocalypse starting now. Chapter 7. Determination. It's the end of the world as we know it. The sounds of fire trucks and patrol cars echoed through the streets. The sky was dark, the air stale, and the many strong, cold gusts of wind bore massive amounts of dust and debris. I didn't envy the reporter her job, as she seemed mere moments from being blown off her feet. But to her credit, she persevered. Behind her, there was a black shadow of an old man. The Black Shadow. I'm here reporting on what's been dubbed the nationwide ghost disaster state, which local representatives claim is now in effect as of last night. This string of unexplained and potentially unexplainable deaths that's been plaguing the city presently shows no signs of letting up. Suspicions and sudden demises, homicides with unknown motives, and reports of paranormal visitations are all increasing at an alarming rate. The police forces in each prefecture are still weighing their options for dealing with this issue, and few have made any official statements thus far, frustratingly. The old man's shadow in the background began acting strangely, jumping in place and making various other aimless motions. The Metropolitan Police, meanwhile, have suggested that all locals travel to a safe location in groups of 3 or more as soon as possible, remaining indoors until further notice.
昨晩より全国各地で発生している巨大な黒い柱による出現被害につきまして、国土交通省は非常体制の災害対策本部および警戒本部を設置しました。
The sudden devastating appearance of the black pillars throughout Japan last night has also led the MLIT to declare a state of emergency, setting up disaster shelters and lookouts.
各地方整備局管内の情報に基づく交通、河川の被災状況および対策状況は次の通りです。
Official word from local bureaus on how these pillars are affecting traffic, the status of damage to the rivers, as well as any countermeasures being taken can be seen here.
柱の成分は専門家の分析でも解析不明の未知の鉱物の結晶のようでエンティティウォール、霊体物質と名付けられています。
Experts have analyzed the pillars' composition and concluded that they're made of a previously unknown material. They toss around names like spirit matter and entity wall.
地震計などでも全く予測のつかない場所に突如生えてくるため、多数の死傷者を出し、世間を混乱に陥れています。
Due to their rapid growth and the complete inability of even seismographs to predict where they may spawn, the number of casualties is quite high, and global tensions are even higher.
工事用カッターの刃も通らず、撤去もできない状況です。
Everything up to and including industrial cutters and blades has been employed in an attempt to cut through these objects, with absolutely no effect.
防衛庁は自衛隊の調査結果などから先日まで上空に浮かんでいた黒い球体との関連を調査しています。
The Ministry of Defense is using JSDF data to explore the strong possibility that these pillars are related in some way to the aerial sphere that hovered in our skies only days ago.
新しい避難場所の情報です。避難指示の出た地域にお住まいの方は以下の情報をチェックしてください。
I have here a list of newly appointed relief shelters, so if you live in one of the designated evacuation areas, please take note of the information on your screen.
携帯サイト、ウェブサイトでも情報を発信しております。なお、ご覧の白い地域にある体育館や学校はすでに満員です。
This information is also available on our website and through our mobile app, but do note that any gymnasiums and schools shown in white are full, so you'll need to look elsewhere.
お近くの空きのある施設へ向かってください。
We strongly recommend that you proceed to the nearest open facility as soon as possible.
っていうか、前兆も速報もなくいきなり生えてくるんだ。避難も対策もねえんだよ。運が悪けりゃ死ぬだけだ。
But if these things can sprout up anywhere without warning and give you no time to escape, evacuation is meaningless. There's not a damn thing anybody can do to stay safe.
なんで警察はいつまでも公式発表しないんだよ。編集を不祥事と取られるのが嫌なのか、それとも何か隠してるのか。
Whether you die or not is just dumb luck. When the hell are the police going to get off their asses and make a statement? What could they possibly say about this? Are they scared of public outcry? Are they hiding something? The middle-aged announcer was yelling at the top of his lungs, and in an absolute frenzy, he kicked his studio desk to the ground. A black shadow of a woman could be seen behind him. He got possessed.
委員長。
Class rep. Morishige? Mayu? Shinozaki. Seiko! Ayumi. Miss Yui. Shinozaki. Huh? Wow, you're here and you're not glowing. Thank you for bringing us back to life. Is this a dream? You mean I did it? But a whole lot more people have died now. Huh? The room grew dark, and each of the four figures who stood before me slowly melted into the blackness, becoming indistinct silhouettes.
持田も中島も岸沼も
Even Mochida, Nakashima, and Kishinuma have died. So many people gone. What's this? Even we haven't actually been revived, huh? What was it you were trying to do again, Ayumi? No! No! I screamed and looked up. It was just a dream. I was at home, watching TV. You better be waiting you better be waiting for something to happen here that will help you do something to fix this, because I hope you're not just sitting here on your ass doing nothing. I scrunched myself up again, putting my face to my knees. Bring them back, bring them back. I was like a broken record with that, but it was a doomed idea from the start. Everything I've done has been pointless. So what do I do now? I thought I could revive them. I really did. I mean, if I can come back from Yoshie's house despite those injuries and losing my sister, then anybody should be able to come back. Don't even get me started on this line of logic, Ayumi. I raised my face from my knees, eyes red and burning. Then, as if I hadn't already had enough tragedy in my life, I heard a loud crash just outside my house. It was unmistakably a car wreck, and a rather severe one at that. The car's alarm was going off, but I was trying my best to ignore it. I didn't need this right now, so I simply wasn't going to bother with it. Sis. What do I do, sis? Sis.
次のニュースです。公益財団法人 PL 振興社の会長が失踪しました。
Up next, we've learned that the CEO of PL Promotions Co., Inc. is among those who've gone missing. Shinozaki resident. Oh, we actually get to walk around your house for once. Now, before I go answer the door, I want to look around and see if I can find something interesting. Numerous unsettling shadowy figures are silhouetted on the sliding screen, separating the living room from the outside. Going out now would be a terrible idea. The reflection in the mirror looks like a whole other person. Ragged hair, pale skin, and an expression of utter disdain are the standout features. Every channel is reporting almost non-stop on the nationwide ghost disaster state that's in effect. Too bad no one seems to have any worthwhile information to contribute, though. The lack of sunlight these past few days has really taken its toll not just on the people here, but on the plants as well. Well, it looks like we got some sunlight out there. I need to get to the front door. There's no reason for me to go upstairs right now. Okay, fine. Let's just go to the front door. The car alarm outside was still going off. It was getting harder and harder to ignore it by the second. Very impatient you are. What? Whoever was ringing my doorbell was really, really persistent. The irregular sound brought me back to reality. I crept over to the peephole and silently looked through it to see who'd be visiting me at this hour. On the other side of the door stood a man I didn't recognize. He had short hair, and he was pressing a chime frantically, as if his life depended on it. Who is that? A desperate survivor, maybe? I was kind of creeped out. I really shouldn't open the door. I moved away from the peephole. The persistent ringing continued for a bit, but then finally, thankfully, came to an abrupt halt. I slowly crept back to the peephole and took another look. The man was still there. He was just pacing back and forth in place in front of a house that, for all he knew, had no occupants. Hello? After a short while, he approached the door again and immediately put his eye right up to the outside of the peephole. If I moved now, he'd totally know I'm here. The man moved his head away, but quickly replaced it with his finger, which he swirled around and around inside the tight space as if trying to reach my eye. Or poke it out. Then he stepped away from the door. I could have taken this opportunity to slowly move away from the peephole, but I was oddly transfixed. Thank God. Now all he has to do is leave. I have a feeling he's more likely to try busting down the door. Of course, the second I thought that, he came back to the door yet again. And yet again, he skipped the doorbell and went straight for the peephole. What does he want? Why isn't he saying anything? This is really creeping me out. Well, fine then. I'll just open the door and give him a piece of my mind. I don't think that's a good idea. I grabbed the doorknob and was moments away from following through with that plan, when suddenly... Ayumi. Hey, Sachi. Sachiko. Don't open it. What? He's dead. Sachiko. I slowly turned to look at her. The Nirvana is the world of the dead. And that world is coming here. Then there was an oddly familiar sound. Another car accident, again right outside my door. This time I looked outside through the peephole and saw the man from earlier, sandwiched between a car and the wall of one of the houses across the street. He was absolutely mangled. But after only a few moments, the man's corpse disappeared, leaving nothing but a shadow in its place on the wall and ground alike. A black stain. What is this? What's happening to the world? Not that I even really had to ask. Is this from breaking down the walls of the Nirvana? I wasn't just asking myself. I was asking Sachiko, whose presence still remains just behind my back. But she just looked up at me with sad eyes. That person just now was one of the deceased. And if he turned into a black stain, then... It's just like the photographs. No, it couldn't be. I pulled my smartphone from my pocket and forced myself to remain calm enough to access the photo, but then just stopped and stared. God, no. The photo displayed on my phone, which was now on the floor. They're all blacked out now. No longer had it just my friends from before with blacked out faces, but Mochida, Nakashima, and Kishinuma as well. I pounded the floor with both hands and shuddered violently. Thou shalt repent. The end of the world is nigh. I'd say it's already here.
神は不浄なる不心得者を決してお許しにはならぬ。
God shall not forgive those who art unclean and indiscreet. Some cultist group was speaking on TV. I guess the news must have ended at some point when I wasn't paying attention. The end of the world, huh? This time I was just plain talking to myself. Where the hell did you come from? The side door from the yard? That's right. The end. Who'd have ever thought the last remaining Yagura could have enough suicide to bomb or determination to dream up something like this? Magari appeared in my hallway. I had no idea how long she'd been there, nor how she'd gotten in. I noticed she still had her heels on, though. Wait a minute. How did you survive? I thought that jackass killed you. It's you. I stood up. And Sachiko was, as always, waiting in the wings right behind me. I came back with the Ever After stones. Used them in midair while I was falling down for the bell tower. Clever. Heavenly Host is totally destroyed though, so these are just plain ordinary stones now. To demonstrate, Magari snapped the two together. Nirvana, I summon the dead. See? I probably flinched, but she was right. Nothing happened. Within the next few hours, this world will be totally blanketed in chaos. It's going to be the new land of the dead. Sucks, huh? This is seriously the cataclysm. And to top it all off, that's my order on TV there. Fucking shameless, aren't they? Even I gotta draw the line at that point. So, where are you going with this? Are you basically aligning yourself with me now or something? She pulled her chin back and flashed me a strange smile. Oh yeah, your parents went crazy and joined. So you know. This day couldn't have been much worse for me. Won't get any argument from me on that. Are you okay leaving things like this then? Magari wasn't missing words, it seemed. I held my head in both hands and looked down at the ground. If you feel responsible, come with me for a bit. I have something to discuss with you about your bloodline. Magari approached me and grabbed my arm. Sachiko, still right behind me, began to growl like a guard dog. Get your hands off of me! I can't even save my friends! I can't do anything! I don't know what the hell difference the blood of Shinozaki is supposed to make, but I'm just Ayumi, and Ayumi's worthless! Besides, the person who first introduced Nirvana to this world was Yoshie, not me! Yeah, but Yoshie is kind of dead right now. As I screamed as loudly and as fiercely as I could. I didn't do anything wrong. I closed my eyes and cried the hardest I ever cried, sobbing so intensely that I found myself nearly hyperventilating. Magari slapped me down to the ground. You're one stubborn bitch, you know that? Got a hell of an ego, too. For once in your life, just suck it up! I held my cheek and continued sobbing. Magari was looking down on me with contempt in her eyes, but also a certain intensity that seemed more akin to desperation than anything.
Shinozaki Ayumi.
Ayumi Shinozaki, here's one fact you should know.
7番目の柱。知識のセフィラの起動を止められなかった時点で、もう世界の終わりは動かない。だけど、
Once the seventh pillar, the Sephiroth of knowledge, starts up, it's all over. The end of the world is carved in stone. However, Magari closed in on me as if our lips were about to touch. Sachio growled again, but Magari was clearly not intimidated in the slightest.
Book of Shadows はまだ失われていない。
The Book of Shadows isn't gone yet. What, you mean the original? What?
あの本を手にした篠崎の血を引くあなたならミストとまだ戦えるかもしれないわ。
You came in contact with the original book. So since you draw the blood of the Shinozaki, you may yet be able to fight Misuto. With what? A book with a book full of spells that have never been properly tested? Might as well just play a game of Russian roulette at this point. Again. I was still hesitating. And Magari apparently didn't much like that. God, just come the fuck on. Suddenly, Magari was pulling up the top of my uniform. The plump white stomach was now fully exposed. That piece of shit book is right here. That's what that glow was? The book? She pointed to a spot just below my belly button. What? As she did so, my stomach started growling in an unearthly roar, and shifted in place slightly. It was almost like there was a snake slithering around inside of me. Sure would have been nice if you'd noticed that a little sooner.
篠崎義恵の家の地下で力を使ってからそこに潜り込んで眠ってやがったのよそいつは。
That thing's been sleeping inside you since you first used its power in the basement of Yoshie Shinozaki's estate. Well, I guess eating the book is certainly one way to keep it safe. I don't think Ayumi did it intentionally, though. Magari crossed her arms and snorted.
ただし、あくまで入れ物で、中身は空っぽだけどね。
Of course, it's only a container. Nothing's in it right now. Still, this adds a whole nother layer of irony to my whole quest in this game up until now. One of the reasons, I mean, I started this whole thing just looking for, I started this whole thing throwing all caution and sense of logic and reason to the wind here to look for this book, but it turns out it was in Ayumi's guts all along.
生意気にうなってやんの。
Growling like a cocky bastard. The growl that came from within my own body sounded like that of a wild beast.
まさか本当に
There's no way. Is this for real? Apparently.
ほんとすっかり騙されたわ。
I was actually tricked pretty good.
私は本来教団からあなたがあの空間でブック・オブ・シャドウズを手に入れるためのサポート役。それとその他雑用のために派遣されていたのよ。
Originally, the elders sent me to support you in your efforts to obtain the Book of Shadows from that other realm. Among other things.
そうなの。
Okay.
って言っても手に入れた瞬間奪い取るつもりだったけどね。
But of course, that still means I was planning on stealing it from you as soon as you got your hands on it.
まあそれも今となってはどうでもいいわ。世界が壊れるのなら教団の継承権もクソもないし。ただね、ムカつくのよ。
Now, though, that doesn't matter. If the world's going to pot, there's not really any meaning in becoming the heir to the Martabas tomb Martabas anymore, is there? And that just fucking sucks. Huh?
ミストよ。ミスト。あれで勝ったつもりでいるなんて笑っちゃうわよね。
It all goes back to Misuto. Misuto. If that little fucker thinks he's won the war, he's got another thing coming.
そんなあいつを思いっきりなぶり殺してやりたいでしょ。
Don't you just want to slaughter him like a pig right now? Yes, but without a proper battle plan, that won't really happen.
あなたも甘ったれずにできることに目を向けなさい。可能性を放棄するのは死んだ後でいい。
You should be stopping such a pussy and look at all the things you're capable of. There'll be time enough to abandon all your potential after you're dead. My eyes began to well up yet again.
私にまだ何かできることがあるの？
Are you saying there's still something I can do? Magari's expression turned deathly serious.
なんとしてもブック・オブ・シャドウズを体の外に出して支配なさい。本があなたの覚悟を認めれば自然と出てくるわ。
Do whatever you can to bring that Book of Shadows out of your body and gain control over it. If the book recognizes your determination, it should extract itself naturally.
そして本の力があればミストのいる涅槃にもう一度乗り込む道も示されるでしょうよ。
And if you have the power of the book at your disposal, it'll lead you right back into Misuto's Nirvana. I could only stare incredulously at my abdomen. Magari took this opportunity to open my front door, again to illustrate her point. Outside, the weather was still completely anomalous, with hurricane-like winds and debris clouds everywhere. The clouds up above, too, were moving abnormally fast through a disconcerting blood-red sky. Every few seconds, a sound not unlike a spark plug firing could be heard echoing from the distance, as another black flame ignited and burned itself out in some random spot.
どのみちあなたも世界と共に滅びて死ぬわ。だったら見せてみなさい。その前にあなたの覚悟を。
I mean, you're going to lie down and die of this world either way. So what have you got to lose? Show me how tough you are while you still got the chance. I agree with her, though. We really have nothing else to lose. We really have nothing else to lose at this point. Just remember, the book was born from black magic. It adores cruelty and blood. Well, if it's a matter of just drawing cruelty out of you, I would just recommend bringing Yoshiki along, since you're pretty capable of being cruel to him quite a bit. But, well, since he's kind of dead, that option's kind of out of the window. With those parting words, Magari disappeared into the city, the sounds of her heels clacking softer and softer, until they were no longer audible at all. Sachiko and I could do nothing but see her off. The entire nation was now plagued with entity walls and black silhouette-like spirits of the dead. The entity walls were rapidly destroying schools, downtown bypasses and other crucial traffic cornerstones, and even rescue shelters, creating countless new casualties by the minute. People were running in the streets, panicked and confused, and almost certainly not much longer for this earth. Where are we supposed to go? It doesn't matter. Just run or you'll be crushed. What about overseas? How are you gonna get there with the sky and the ocean both screwed up? Meanwhile, in Miss Kuon's office, the black-suited agents watched in horror as each TV monitor displayed a feed from a different news network across the world. And the story was exactly the same on all of them. Boss, what are we supposed to do? How is a book supposed to recognize my determination? What the hell am I supposed to do? Again, I would take what Magari told us just now into consideration and consider getting our meanness out of our spirits. I don't think that sounds like it didn't make any sense. I don't have any reason to go to the kitchen right now. There's nothing I need to do in here right now. Hinoui's room, huh? Oh. Sis, give me strength. In front of the mirrored dresser sat Hinoui's zodiac dagger. I gripped it in terror, closed my eyes, and started shaking. Do whatever you can to bring that Book of Shadows out of your body and gain control over it. Well, you better hope that your determination will be enough to convince this book here to just give you power and patch you back up. Because if you're going to try to basically surgically remove that thing from yourself, if your determination isn't enough, you're going to bleed out. Just remember, the book was born from black magic. It adores cruelty and blood. I couldn't back down now. I lifted a dagger in front of me, poised to plunge it into my body and carve myself open as samurai once did in the ritualistic suicide called seppuku. But I couldn't go through with it. I was too scared of death. Too scared of pain. I can't. I can't. The face that reflected back at me in the mirror was twisted with fear. I didn't even recognize myself. but I could see in those eyes all the weight that had been put on my shoulders. All the responsibility I'd been forced to bear.
臆病で矮小で弱くてこんな自分さえいなければ
I'm a coward. I'm small and weak. The world doesn't need me. I won't be missed.
ここで決別するのよ
But I can make a difference. Here and now. Ah! My mind was made up. I lifted the dagger again. Only to bring it halfway to its destination before halting its descent once more. No matter how determined I was, no matter how strong my conviction, this was literally suicide. I knew what had to be done, but knowing and accepting are two different things. I began crying like a baby. This was the most afraid I'd ever been in my entire life. And almost certainly the most afraid I ever would be. At this point, the only way I'd be able to go through with it was to clear my mind and let my arms make the motions automatically. And before I knew it, that's exactly what I did. Oh! It's most likely because I wasn't thinking about it, or anything else for that matter, that the dagger found absolutely no resistance. It was like applying excess force to a slice of cake. For a very brief moment, I felt nothing. But then the convulsions started. First in my abdomen, then quickly spreading up to the rest of my body. My abdomen was now spasming and constricting involuntarily. And the rest of me wasn't faring much better. My entire body was in total chaos. The extent of the agony I felt at that moment was absolutely impossible to convey. It was all-encompassing. I was utterly incapable of focusing on anything else. My lower body was spewing bright red blood, thick black blood, and an unknown yellow substance, all of which were blending together into a slurry that was, at its core, my life essence. You know, in spite of everything that I've criticized you over the course of this game and several other games, I gotta admit, this is you're pretty fucking hardcore right now. If you can successfully pull this off, I'll be very fucking impressed. This went far beyond anything I could have ever imagined. The sheer shock of it rendered my mind a jumble that I simply could not untangle. I knew there was a reason I'd done this to myself. Something I absolutely had to do. And it was crucial. But regaining enough cognitive function to do it would be a challenge. I can't do this. To cut across yet and remove the book. There's no way. My head was swimming as I tried, beyond all reasonable measure, to hang on to consciousness just long enough to complete the task at hand. I could still see my face in the mirror, but only just as the blood had been spurting from my abdomen had largely glazed it over. I'm starting to feel queasy here. I hope this doesn't go on for too long. It was a truly frightful sight, comparable to, if not more disturbing than anything I'd seen in Heavenly Host. I can't do it. I felt feeble, helpless. And the face in the mirror was smiling at me for it. Darkly. Obscenely. You can't do it. Jet black crows flew outside the window. And in that moment, a fire sparked within me, feeling oddly resolute. I gripped a dagger jutting out from my abdomen. Excuse me, I need to get some fresh air. Sorry about that. I was really starting to feel lightheaded, so I had to leave and just go lie down for a minute. I feel okay now, I think. Drank a little bit of water and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, anything involving guts like this to such a detailed extent always makes me feel queasy, but rarely do I ever get this lightheaded. I don't know if it was just from this or something else, which I hope it isn't something else, but yeah, well, the point is, I feel fine now, so no need to worry about me. And in that moment, a fire sparked within me. Feeling oddly resolute, I gripped a dagger jutting out from my abdomen. And yanked it to the side of every last bit of strength I had left in me. The spray of blood gushing out of me became almost exponentially more violent. Most surprisingly, it seems like equal amounts of blood were rushing to my brain as well. And in fact, was a feeling like the blood vessels in my head were on the verge of bursting. Oh shit, there it is. But just as I felt like I was moments from my final blackout, I saw something. There, among my own entrails on the ground, was a blood-drenched tome. This... Yeah, it's official. I'm going to, even if this whole thing ends up failing and you end up dying for nothing, I will admit, this is the single most hardcore, badass thing that you've ever done, Ayumi. And once again, everybody knows how critical I've been of her for the longest time now. But this is seriously fucking impressive. It was the Book of Shadows, without question. My vision blurred from the intense loss of blood and even more intense pain. I fell forward, unable to maintain any semblance of balance any longer. And I landed right on it. With a loud, warm, and unpleasant splash, my face planted firmly into the book, which was steaming under the odd temporal differences of my viscera. Oh, thank God, you're healed. Because, believe it or not, despite how critical I've been of you, all the way up until now, I would hate to see you... I honestly would hate to see you die for nothing like this. I woke with a start. I was still in Hinoue's room. Yeah, I guess that sounds kind of contradictory considering how harsh I've been with you up until now, but I guess I might as well just get this out of the way here before there's any serious confusion among any of you who are watching. I'm critical. I've been as critical as I have been of Ayumi to the point where I'm saying she should suffer the consequences of her actions, not because I genuinely want to see her die or anything like that as a result of her stupidity, but because I want her to actually learn from her mistakes and grow as a person. I only wish harm on the most evil people, who frankly deserve it. Ayumi's not evil, she's just really fucking dumb. I hope that clears everything up, but yeah, if this somehow works, and it looks like it's going to do just that, then, well, you win a lot of points in my book, Ayumi, for sheer determination and bravery. Which probably honestly doesn't really make up all that much for everything else that you've done in my book here, but but you're certainly a hell of a lot more brave than I would be in this situation, probably. Instinctively and frantically, I looked down in my abdomen. There I saw a scar resembling the ones I'd almost died from during the blowback at Yoshie Shinazaki's house. Runic lettering and all. But that was it. The bleeding had stopped. In fact, there was no blood anywhere in the room. And on the floor in front of me sat the Book of Shadows. Not a copy, but the original. This is... I slowly touched it. And from behind me, Sachiko spoke. The book has acknowledged you as its owner. Well, congratulations! Now we have our own Book of Shadows to use against Misudo. Still, it doesn't change the fact that it's pretty much full of spells that are untested, so all we really have to go on are just, well, a bunch of theories, but theoretically speaking, we are on equal ground now. She was staring at me with a docile, almost reverent look in her eyes. I picked up the book and looked at it, fear and awe running through my now clear head. It grumbled a bit, darting its eyes back and forth. Eventually, it seemed to settle in a specific direction, locking its gaze. I seemed to be looking out the window. Hey, what's that pillar of light? What is that? Most likely the entrance to Nirvana. Wait. Kisaragi Academy is in that direction. Dad. Mom. Thank goodness. I was worried sick about... The world has ended. The world has ended. Dad. Mom. The world has ended. Was ended. Dad and Mom both just repeat the same line over and over again, like a broken tape recorder. Dad, Mom. Well, apparently we still have one last chance here at our disposal here to somehow stop all this. I don't know the exact details that's going to involve. All I know is that we now have the original Book of Shadows, and well, Misudo has his own copy. Maybe we'll figure everything out when we get there. There's no reason for me to go upstairs right now. I have to hurry and get to Kisaragi Academy. No kitchen. I'll be back for you. I swear. Okay, so I guess we have a second opening now.
幸子、不思議な気持ちだけど、あなたがこうして味方でいてくれると心強いよ。
Sachiko, I can't believe I'm saying this, but having you on my side is kind of reassuring. Sachiko looked at me with sweet, innocent eyes. When I arrived at Kisaragi Academy, I got a much better look at the phenomenon. It was like a whirlpool with a red, dully shining hole in its center. Was this the entrance to the ever after? Beyond that is the Nirvana.
動的魔法？魔女みたいに空を飛ぶの？嘘だ。
Connect magic? Like how witches fly? No way! I closed my eyes, clasped the Book of Shadows tightly in both hands, and prayed. Book of Shadows, lend me strength. When I opened my eyes again and looked up into the sky, my body began to float. I was in control of the Book of Shadows. I was a legitimate practitioner of magic now. This moment felt almost like an awakening to endless new possibilities. I'm actually flying? Wow. And right next to me, flying by my side, was Sachiko.
Ayumi.
Ayumi? Yeah, don't lose your focus now. That would be bad. The momentary loss of focus dropped me out of my trance, and I immediately began falling. I gripped the book even tighter and concentrated harder than before, and sure enough, I began rising up toward the vortex once more.
Ayumi, 気をつけて。あなたが力を使えるのはその本のおかげ。絶対離しちゃダメ。
Be careful, Ayumi. It's the book that's allowing you to use these powers. You mustn't let go of it.
わかった。
Understood. As I flew higher, I could see Magari sitting on the roof of the school.
ブックオブシャドウスを従えたようね。見直したわ、篠崎あゆみ。
Looks like you managed to gain control over the Book of Shadows after all. I underestimated you, Ayumi Shinozaki. Well, you're not the only one who did.
それにしても、如月学園の真上に涅槃へのエスカレーターがあるなんてね。
You even installed an escalator from Kisaragi Academy right up to the Nirvana. Not too shabby.
ついでにもう一つ教えてやるとね、涅槃がこの世界に侵食してつながってしまったのは別にあなただけのせいじゃない。
There is one more thing you should probably know, though. The Nirvana's encroachment upon and direct connection to this world isn't really your fault at all. How?
涅槃天神症がこの世に発生してしまった時点で
The very moment the heavenly host Nirvana first appeared in this world.
もっと以前にブックオブシャドウズが生み出されてしまった時にいつかこの時が来ることは決まっていた。
No, even farther back, at the moment when the Book of Shadows was first created. The coming of this apocalypse was basically an inevitability. So you're basically saying that it was just fate that this was meant to happen. I'm sorry, but that doesn't really excuse Ayumi's poor actions leading all the way up to this, as far as I'm concerned. Even if she had no quote-unquote direct control over it, it doesn't change the fact that she did it. Okay, I guess that sounds a bit harsh, honestly. But I don't know. I'm finding this angle a bit suspect. This whole fate thing here. Especially considering that, you know, we've got multiple timelines and different and all that stuff here that we saw just within Nirvana itself ever since the first game. Like, choice still has... A point I'm making here is choice still had a factor in all this. I looked into Magari's face. She was being completely sincere.
その本の元の所有者も篠崎義恵もみんなそれを食い止めようとあるいは遅らせようと必死だったの。
The former owners of that book, including Yoshie Shinozaki, all tried desperately to stop it, or at least slow it down.
それが次世代へつなぐだけの運命であってもね。そうやって代々受け継いできたのよ。
And when they learned they couldn't, they left that fate to the next generation instead. That's why the book continued to be handed down through the ages.
そうだったの。
I see.
だから言ってみればあなたがいようといまいといずれこうなったわ。
What that means is, this all would have happened anyway, with or without you. Again, that still doesn't fully excuse Ayumi's actions in my book, but okay.
ただあなたの行為はあの狂信者集団ヤゴウラ教会の生き残りミストに涅槃のパワーを与えてしまった。
Save for one thing. Your actions resulted in the power of the Nirvana being handed over to Misuto, the surviving member of that fucked up Yagura cult. I'm glad you at least acknowledge that.
その責任は取らなきゃいけないわ。
And you do need to take responsibility for that.
責任。
Responsibility.
あなたには本物のブックオブシャドウズがある。
You have the real Book of Shadows.
天神症で分散していた涅槃の力はミストの持つ偽物に取り込まれてしまった。
But all the power of the Nirvana, broken up and distributed throughout Heavenly Host, has been absorbed by Misuto's fake book.
でもそれを取り戻してその本に封印すればあんなもの簡単に吹っ飛ばせるわ。
If you can get it back and seal it in that one though, you can easily outclass him.
そして涅槃のコアをも迎え入れられたならその本は完璧なものとなる。
And if you can go one step further, taking in Nirvana's core, then that book will be complete.
さあ反撃よ。食らわしてやりなさい。
Now's the time to strike. Go in there and fuck him up.
世界が終わる前に一発ぐらい本物の実力ってやつをね。私は見ているわ。
Before the world ends, let him see what real power tastes like. I'll be watching. I would appreciate you coming along here to provide backup here, because despite the fact that Ayumi has the Book of the Book of Shadows in her possession, I still don't fully trust her to not make a big mistake or two along the way, and it would be nice if there's somebody there to pick up the slack. Magari grew smaller as I climbed higher and higher, and as I looked up, I could see the threshold looming ever larger, poised as if to wrap itself around me.
Ayumi?
Ayumi?
Oh?
Hmm?
Kawaii?
Are you scared?
死ぬの怖い?
Are you scared of dying?
怖いかな?
I don't know. Am I? I smiled at her, and to my surprise, it was a genuine smile. Somehow or another, I was feeling very calm. Sachiko looked at me with wide eyes.
どうしたの?
What's wrong? She turned away briefly, then looked over at me once more. It almost seemed like in that brief moment, she changed expressions in much the same way someone would change a suit.
Ayumi? 怖いのはサチと涅槃のコアにいる人。気をつけて。
Ayumi. What you should be scared of is Sachi. And the person in Nirvana's core. Who, Misuto? I'm not scared of that jackass. Don't let your guard down.
日本のコアにいる人？それはミストじゃなくて？
The person in Nirvana's core? It isn't Misuto?
別にいる。
There's someone else. What? Who is it? I looked back up to find my... Wait a minute, I did see a silhouette of something at the end of that new opening thing we just saw. Is that the person you're referring to? I looked back up to find myself practically right on top of the hole in the sky that stood in front of the abnormally huge red moon. So, Misuto is the one that's causing the apocalypse right now. He has a book of shadows that's allowing him to do all this, and yet the ones I should be really scared of is Sachi and the person, and this person, whoever they are, inside the Nirvana's core. So what you're essentially implying is Misuto is what, just a pawn or something? And with my convictions settled, I jumped in. The harsh flash, the nausea, and the wrenching tightness in my chest caused me to lose consciousness for a second. But then I awoke to find that heaven and earth had switched places. It looked as though I were falling headfirst into a massive storm, with flashing lightning and roaring thunder. It almost seemed like I was previewing what the world would look like after its destruction. In the sky, there was an enormous face of a doll, and the walls around me were all made of flesh. I clenched the Book of Shadows with both hands as I slowly made my landing in this new version of the Nirvana. It was a mountain of rubble. What is this? Everything's broken to bits. Ow. What the hell? You lost your concentration.
Ayumi, 大丈夫?
Ayumi, are you okay?
平気だよ。これくらい。
Yeah, I can handle this much at least. I slowly, carefully found my footing and pulled myself back up to my feet. This was an entirely different heavenly host. It bore almost no resemblance whatsoever to any version of the school we traversed previously. Heavenly Host Elementary turned into this. Where are the others? Mochida! Nakashima, Kishinuma, Miss Kuon, Aiko! I called out to my friends, but received no answer. All I could hear was the rumbling and twisting of the air around me. Oh, there they all are. Well, isn't that just convenient? They all just landed right there, right where I first arrived. Name tag rests beside the corpse. Kitoshiro High, Class 3-2. Kazuki Munakata. Crushed by a piece of the school. There was no mistaking it. In the midst of the wreckage, pieces of clothing from Kishinuma, Mochida, Nakashima, Miskuon, and Aiko were clearly visible. And the unfortunate souls who were wearing this clothing were all buried under fallen beams and utter debris, and surrounded by a veritable sea of blood. I knelt down and began sobbing uncontrollably. You guys... Misuto! Show yourself! What you've done is unforgivable! Sachiko stared at me as I continued to scream and cry.
Ayumi?
Ayumi? What is it, Sachiko?
幸子、頑張ってみる。天神小学校の運命だったら、ちょっとなら戻せるかもしれない。
I'll see what I can do. I can try to restore Heavenly Host Elementary's destiny. At least some small part of it. What? You can still do that? Sachiko produced a calavera necklace from her pocket. That necklace! You still have it! Well, if this isn't proof that Hysteric Birthday Bash is canon, I don't know what is. The skeletal figure on the chain made a slight hollow clicking sound as it was handled, very much as actual bone would. It looked handmade and seemed oddly warm, like a keepsake. What is that? I had this weird feeling I'd seen this object somewhere before. I swear that looks familiar. But from where? Though she was looking down at the ground a bit, slightly guilty and slightly guarded, Sachiko giggled slightly. This is my treasure. A big smile crept across her lips, and for a moment she looked every bit the part of an ordinary little girl. Huh? I was confused. Sachiko placed her hand on the Book of Shadows. Fact loop. And the book spoke. Repeat the same day. Followed by Sachiko. Repeat the same day. Are we time traveling? Suddenly, I was in Yoshie Shinozaki's clinic. Or maybe this is some kind of vision thing. The very same clinic Nakashima and I had visited on that fateful day. This person is Yoshie. I was viewing Sachiko's memory of an event from long ago. Yoshie was writing something in her journal. I've analyzed the anagrams and determined that all the spells written in this book are nothing more than theories. Not one of them has ever been properly tested. There are no success rates. There's no data of any kind. So why was I naive enough to attempt something so foolish? I devoted everything I have, my blood, my soul, to an end that was destined never to succeed in the first place. And now the spell's failed, and the Nirvana has escaped from the book. I've created a whole other dimension. Worst of all the deceased who become trapped in that dimension are erased from existence in our world. Sachiko came into the room from the back. Her eyes met with Yoshie's, and she smiled. However, since I was able to suppress the stray Nirvana, Sachiko stood obediently by her mother, wearing the white dress we'd seen on her in Heavenly Host. Yoshie patted her on the head approvingly. Sachiko then coughed out a fine black mist, but sucked it back into her mouth like a carp. I could at least rescue one person's existence from that shadowy, forgotten fate. The face on the image was blacked out, like those of Seiko and the others. Oh, Sachiko's father. However, to my surprise, the black marking was slowly peeling itself away, revealing the features underneath. My vision slowly cleared, and when it did, amidst all the rumbling and shaking, I found myself back in Heavenly Host Elementary. Oh. Sachiko! Then, promptly, Sachiko collapsed to the ground. Sachiko! Without thinking, I picked her up and held her limp, light body in my arms. What's happening to you? She must have used up her spirit energy, as she was clearly drained. She was breathing, but only very lightly. Poor girl seems to be in pain. Wait, am I actually holding Sachiko? Sachiko was real. She had to have been, or I wouldn't have been able to hold on to her like this. She seemed injured, but not in any traditional manner. There were cracks running through her body, each one emanating an unearthly blue, an almost gaseous light. Meanwhile, the school itself was also cracking and breaking all around me, making an incredible noise. The roof above began to crumble away, providing glimpses of the real world. And incredibly, the entity walls hadn't spawned there yet. We're back. This is before everyone died, so we did time travel then! So Deus Ex Machina! Sachiko, hang in there. Ayumi, I'm sorry. I couldn't revert. More time. No. Sachiko, thank you. That was amazing. You did great. I could hardly believe it. I just complimented Sachiko, of all people, on a job well done. You're praising me? Her newly formed physical body was rapidly beginning to evaporate into mist. My voice was trembling, though I suspect it was less with fear and more with confusion. Yes, that was incredible. You're a good girl, Sachiko. I looked up into the sky, eyes beginning to well with tears. She was struggling to speak. Soon, she wouldn't be able to at all. I want to apologize. What? She barely had any voice left, but was persevering nonetheless. This is clearly something she didn't want to leave unsaid, no matter what.
許してもらえないのは分かってる。けど、謝りたかった。
I know you can never forgive me, but I want to apologize anyway. And that, she began full on crying. Sachiko. I couldn't help doing the same.
たくさんの人を殺しちゃったんだ。幸子、いい子じゃない。褒められちゃいけない子。
I killed a lot of people. I'm not a good girl. You shouldn't praise someone like me. The tears were streaming down my face now. Sachiko's voice was so mournful, so genuine. You just saved a lot of people now too, so thank you. I wouldn't say that just yet. We still gotta stop Bitch Boy. A massive earthquake shook the ground. Sachiko looked scared, so I patted her head and hugged her tightly. She then looked me squarely in the eye, gripping her calavera necklace tightly in her hand as if it were a rosary.
不思議だよ。
It's strange, isn't it? What is?
正しいって分かったら成仏するのも怖くない。
Once you know you did right, passing on isn't so scary anymore. Sachiko! Huh? Sachiko and the blue light alike both disappeared completely. She was gone. But you were already dead, so what exactly happened to you? The being I was hugging just moments ago no longer existed. So what? You mean all that spiritual power she used just basically erased her from existence? So deader than dead then. So, all I could do was clench my fists and mourn. The look on Sachiko's face when she asked if I was scared of dying kept flashing through my head. Sachiko, you were the one who was scared, weren't you? I catch my head hung low for a moment, then stood up and wiped the tears from my eyes. Sachiko, if it's any consolation, as far as I'm concerned, giving Ayumi this chance here to make everything right, and the fact that you seem genuinely remorseful about everything, as horrible as what you did, as everything you did was, I forgive you. Now, if I were you, Ayumi, I'd take some notes and just do whatever you can to stop this. Accompanying the sound of rumbling, one single entity wall now stood in the real world. The cycle was beginning anew.
見守っていて、幸子。篠崎の末裔の私を。
Watch over me, Sachiko. One Shinozaki to another. Praise. Good girl. There. Sachiko. Be continued. EP entries for Yui Shishido have been unlocked, and Mayu, Sachiko, Sakutaro Morishige, Ikue, and obscure entries. EX Chapter 5 has been unlocked. As far as I can see, Ayumi, we've got only one chance now to make everything right. If you end up succeeding and setting everything right here, then, well, that will do quite a bit here to redeem yourself in my eyes. Just for the love of God, use your brain throughout this whole point forward, and don't do anything reckless. As long as you do that, we're cool. Anyway, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and end the episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of Corpse Party Blood Drive. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. We can check out EX Chapter 5, and then after that, start the next main chapter in the next episode, if I got time to do both, of course. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go mourn for Sachiko a bit. Take care.